What's crack like? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're back again, once again, for another deep sleeper video. This one's going to be a little bit more sleeper heavy, as a lot of these guys are probably undrafted free agents. But hey, names to watch out for, maybe to get familiar with, because you never know. These guys could slip into like the 7th or 6th round. So it's a fun series. It allows me to add more guys to my tape. Typically I stop after, it's like if I see them as undrafted free agents, like, okay, there's no real point to putting them on my board. But some of these guys really do have good potential. It's just either maybe injuries, small sample size, stuff like that. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe, leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the video, and let's go ahead, let's get into it. Starting with Donovan Campbell out of Louisiana Tech. I have an undrafted free agent grade on him. 6'4", 336. He actually cut down some weight. I think his playing weight, it was like closer to 250 at Louisiana Tech, but he's a former LSU recruit. He played mainly guard there, which is going to be his position in the NFL, like hands down. So it's a very small sample size of him playing guard in the SEC, only like 100 some snaps. Decided to transfer to Louisiana Tech, and they moved him to left tackle for the 2020 season, and it didn't really work out, in my opinion. Like, he was still a solid run blocker, and that's really what he is. He is a very, very good run blocker, probably in a more power gap scheme type of offense. So easy one, the Ravens. But he wasn't great as a pass protector, at least at tackle. He was pretty decent in the limited sample size we saw from LSU, but he allowed 23 pressures, 2 sacks in 2020. But got to keep your eye out on. Definitely very scheme specific, but for what he is, definitely will see him at least be on a practice squad. And then I got Jack Stoll out of Nebraska, the tight end. Undrafted free agent. I kind of label this cat as a poor man's Tommy Tremble. Really, he's kind of got that H-back versatility. He really showed surprise and speed there at his pro day, 4.6, and it was like, oh, okay, but he really lacked at the other drills. There's really no agility or explosiveness to speak of, and it kind of matches up with his tape, at least from the 2018 and 2019 tape that I've seen. He in 2020 he got hurt early. He had a torn MCL, and he ended up losing his starting job just to a younger guy. Well, I don't think it, like, at least most places that I've read said it wasn't a benching, more so just them, season's kind of over for us, let's just play other guys. They only played like six or 7 games anyway. But he actually has some experience in the slot, which was nice to see. Very sure hands, but he's more of a chain mover and not a guy that's really going to rattle off the big play. His average depth of target was like only 6-7 yards. But again, he kind of has that, definitely, with his speed, his like blocking ability, because he's always been a solid run blocker throughout his career. Definitely has that Josiah DeGara type of potential. So again, probably even a poor man's Josiah DeGara. So that's how I see him. Undrafted free agent regardless. And this one, I checked out some of the historical Black College combines that just happened like over this past weekend or this past week, and I decided to grab a couple of guys that I saw there that I thought were pretty impressive. Tristan Wallace at a Prairie View A&M. That's right. We're going small school. You probably saw this cat on, if you follow Draft Diamonds. They have a lot of good small school prospects that are like, that you should like take notice of, and I think he's one of them. He was a former Oregon recruit. He was actually recruited by Ohio State and almost went there. Ended up having transferring. I saw really no indications of why. I don't think it was like a character stuff. I mean, I did as much digging as I could. Couldn't really find a reason, which is typically a good thing. But he's got a good combination of size, speed, and athleticism through 2 seasons there at Prairie View. 78 receptions for over 1,000 or 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Like, legit. Like, he legitimately feels like a kind of a a vertical big guy. The thing is, he does have some legitimate ball skill issues, I think. He is more one of these chest catchers, which, again, MVS, man. MVS, just throwing it out there. MVS. That would be a good comp, I think. I just don't think he has real ball skills. But, again, with the size, speed combination, I'm willing to take a shot on this guy as an undrafted free agent. This is the guy I'm more fascinated with is Hunter Register at a Southern University, because 6'3", 217, he actually tested for me, like I thought, extremely well. Former Minnesota Gopher recruit. Just my blurb here, explosive vertical contested catch guy. I may not love contested catch guys, but if you can jump high, if you're already big, jump high and good at the catch point, you're on the radar, man. That's already I think the best you can be as a contested catch guy. He had a 4.44 40, very good on the broad jump and the vertical. And in 2019, which was really his only year as a starter, so we're talking about very limited production. He went for 43 receptions, 610 yards, 11 touchdowns. Very limited route tree, but again, I see him more as a vertical threat. Guy, really take notice of. Wouldn't surprise me if he somehow snuck into the 7th round, but he's a very old prospect. I think his first, he's coming from like the 2015 class. So, very much older prospect than a lot of the other guys here. And then Zach Davidson, probably the one that most people have heard of, the tight end out of Central Mizzou, because he's a former punter turned tight end. That's kind of his claim to fame. And then he railed off in 2019, 15 touchdowns. He had his average yards per catch were over 22 yards. That's wild, right? But former punter, it's his second. He has only really 2 full seasons at tight end, but his RAS score, incredible, 8.79. He had a 4.58 40 time and he was just insane in the agility drills. Like he had under 7-second 3-cone. So wow, kind of an athlete at 6'6", 245, but he's untested as a blocker. He looked okay in blocking drills, but very untested as a blocker. Just literally, this guy's a blank slate. A blank slate. He needs a lot of time to develop, but could be a star, man. Could be. Like if you're familiar with Samus Reyes, the guy that came from Chile, former Tulane basketball player. I feel like he kind of reflects that cat in a lot of ways. But yeah, former punter, and apparently he still works on his punting, but he only averaged 40.3 yards per punt, and that's like net putt average. So yeah, I don't know if he's going to be a punter, but I guess it's nice to have that in your tool belt. And then I have Drew Dahlman out of Stanford, center. He is literally Drake Jackson light. And I use light unironically. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a sucker for these very athletic centers that are, I say very athletic centers that are really going to be only made for an outside zone blocking scheme. And that's kind of what Dahlman is. He probably has one of the lightest anchors in this class. Just a guy that will, I think, constantly will be knocked off his point of attack. Like knocked off at the point of attack. Just a guy I can see falling into the lap of a quarterback. Unfortunately. But I'm sucker for guys like him, Drake Jackson, Nick Harris in 2019, the center out of Washington. But I would say he's very nimble. He's at his best when on the move. So there's stuff to like about it. I definitely think he is he's well worth drafting in this interior class late. I like him. Raymond Johnson III out of Georgia Southern. This is a cat that's probably should be on a few people's radar. Again, you're not going to love the level of competition, but all you can do is play the guy in front of you, and I thought he did that very well. He's very powerful. He's very violent, especially with his hands, how he uses them. He's got a ton of experience. His learning curve and development has been encouraging every year. Just gotten like tremendously better year in, year out. I wouldn't say he naturally bends the edge. Typically, he relies on inside moves or just a simple bull rush, but well worth a 6th to 7th round flyer. And then Shamar John Charles out of Appalachian State. I'm not going to lie. I really thought going into the 2020 season, I thought the guy I was going to love in that secondary there at Appalachian State was going to be Sean Jolly. I was a sucker for him. Undersized slot guy that I was really high on. Ended up not even being the best guy in the secondary there. In my opinion, it was John Charles. Another guy that's he's destined for the slot. He's destined, but he's got great instincts. His athleticism, I thought it was plus for his size. Like maybe you expect a bit more, but I think it was definitely above average. Very physical at the catch point. Very like reminds me a bit of guys like Jimmy Moreland out of James Madison in 2019, and then Amik Robertson out of Louisiana Tech in 2020. Like the way his physicality is just, he's not the same way in the run game. But I like this cat a lot, man. He's someone to keep an eye out for. And then Asari Crosswell, a very interesting prospect out of Arizona State. 6 foot, 205. In any, like, if not for two big things, and that is the potential character concerns and the abundance of blown coverage plays, he kind of has day 2 ability. It's kind of weird because, like, he has this high risk, high reward. It just really came with little reward, man. Like, blown coverage was kind of his calling card there at Arizona State. But you love his versatility. He's literally played slot, box, deep. There's a lot of versatility. He's actually a very sure tackler in the run game, and we've seen ball skills from him. He has some real ball skills. It's just, again, man, more times than not, man, he's biting off not even double moves, just sometimes moves. It's kind of alarming. That's why I got a 7th round grade on him, because I'm willing to take a shot on just the traits. And because at that point in the 7th round, you take a shot, you're really not expecting much from these guys anyway. But he was suspended for from the team in 2020 for team specific reasons that weren't listed, and then he just outright left the team after that. I was like, screw it, I'm done. So a bit of concerning. Again, just too many concerns for me to consider him anything other than late day 3. And then my final guy on this list, a lot of y'all should know. If you don't know, then now you know, is KJ Stefferson out of Jacksonville State. 6'1", 185, 7th. Some people I've seen him as high as the 5th round, and I get it. Back in, 2016? I think it was his freshman season. And this is where a lot of people are pulling their projection for him. Like, he was tough to stop, and he started in front of more veteran guys like Boykins, Claypool. So it was like, oh wow, impressive. But the dude's got great release. He's a very crisp route runner. He explodes out of his breaks. Smooth athlete. He has some real hops. It was just, drops are kind of a reoccurring issue throughout his career, as we'll get to see there at Jacksonville State over the very limited production he had there. But he ended up having to leave Notre Dame after one season because of multiple, not just one, not just two, and some of them came in within like the same week, multiple arrests for drugs. I couldn't find specifically what drugs. I imagine probably be your like weed, stuff like that, something that a lot of people would consider small, but still multiple arrests within that week. And then he came to Jacksonville State, couldn't play in 2020 because of the cancellation of the season, but his 2019 was a big disappointment for me. Like, I looked over his stuff and I'm just like, I don't see it. It's not nearly as good as when he was playing at Notre Dame 2 years prior. So again, a guy that's a pure projection, but based on some of again, just some of his traits, some of it, and just his ability as a route runner is actually really good. Pure projection. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see someone take a shot on him in the 5th. I'm probably not touching him till the 7th. But let me know who are some of your sleepers in this class. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.